G'day folks, I'm Toby. Welcome to another Billy Metals video. Now today I'm out in the bush, out in the Enfield State Forest near a very well-known creek. We're going to have a bit of a fossick in there, a bit of panning. There's a couple of water holes left. The creek is actually pretty dry. It's down the gully behind me here. One targets mineral species today. Obviously we're looking for gold, but there's been sapphires recorded around here, sapphires and small zircons. So they're all very, very small stones. You're talking sort of 1 to 4 millimeters on average from what I've gathered, in various colours, and it's a mineral I'd really like to find. I have a bit of an obsession with sapphires. So we'll get down the creek and get the pans out and see what we can find. That's where a little sample with a zircon and a bit of gold came from, and I'll show you the setup I've got here. I've got my little baby bath which I've carried out down the creek and filled it up with water from one of the few remaining water holes. That is, well, one thing prevents the water hole getting too murky, and secondly it stops tiger leeches latching onto your fingers. Gives you a bit of depth without bottoming out all the time. So a bit of a handy panning hint. So let's dig a bit of this stuff out and see what we can see. It looks actually quite good, and underneath that layer there you can see there's a bit of clay there. So we'll get onto that. We'll set the camera up slightly differently and do a bit of digging. Down to a nice clay layer. There's timber under this. This is all flood gold here. Let's see. There's a spider. Leave him alone. There it is. Dark. You call it mud, stinky clay, full of organics. I reckon the gold layer is just sitting on top, so it's washed out, concentrated in this little spot. So should take that layer and see. All the fine flood gold, if that's the case. That's a piece of rock. Scrape off that organic layer, and there won't be gold in that, I wouldn't imagine. Looks like it's been there a while. Pan this off. Okay. Nice clean looking water, that. Might move this rock here at some point, sample under him. Give you an idea just how big the floods are here. I don't know if I've got any flood footage of this creek, but I might have. I'll add it into the video somewhere here if I do. Otherwise, I'll have to imagine it. But a year ago, 2 years ago, we had a massive flood through here. And a couple of years before that, there was another enormous one. There's no decent stones or nuggets in there. I'd be exceptionally surprised if there was either, especially in flood gold type ground. This is just keep scooping your sand out the bottom every so often, and top your water up as you go. It uses very little water. You don't contaminate water holes. Not that it probably really matters here so much because it's drying up anyhow. Another few days, I reckon it'll be dry. But yeah, it's the most efficient use of your water doing it this way, and you can make everything neat again afterwards. Which I know in a creek bed doesn't really matter, but it also does. There's a lot of people trying to stop us from prospecting in a lot of areas. It's important we all do the right thing and try to make it as good as it was before we left. Pick up your rubbish, pick up other people's rubbish, and put the ground back as it was, and they've got less ammunition to use against us. It was a zircon for a second. It's not, it's just orange rock. That would have been exciting. like to give the pan a little tap to help settle the heavies. Do we have... Oh yes we do. Look at that. Heaps of gold. Can't see any zircons or sapphires in there. But look at all that gold. Gaggle a bit there, flaky bit there. Yeah, excellent. A bit more there. Really fine flaky gold. Righto. We'll dig a heap of that area out. I'll pan off several and show you the results once we get a few pans in. So I've done 5 pans. This is a 5th pan. If I sound a bit excited, there's a good reason for that. So that's where I'm panning there. I've cleaned out this little thin layer here. Have a look at what's in this pan. See, this is... I thought it was a piece of glass at first. That's a light blue sapphire, I reckon. Out here, I've never seen any stone, any gemstone that big out here. Look at it. I know it could possibly be topaz, but the geology shouldn't really be topaz here, but it's not to say there isn't. Yeah, that's fantastic. I have to test it first before I get really excited and make sure it's not a piece of worn glass, but it's not the right colour for glass, and it really looks and feels like a stone, so stick him in there. There's also this piece, which I think is one of the pink sapphires that we're looking for, and this, which looks much more like zircon, is zircon. How much gold is in this particular pan, I'm not sure, but it was full of heavies, and there's a bit. Look at it all. I'm not taking the gold out, I'm putting it, those concentrates, in a container. Look at all of that. More and more and more. That is one of the best pans. Digging wish will go. All of that is going to be dug. Yeah, can't quite believe that sapphire. Fingers crossed it is a sapphire. I've cleaned out that little area there, and the majority of the rich stuff was just in this little bit here. All the rest of the sample, I've done 10 pans now. The last several of them just had the normal few flakes of gold you get in this creek. So that was a rich patch, and that's where all the gemstones were sitting, which is really interesting. Most of them were very, very small. So what has happened here is the water's gone roaring down this straight here and concentrated everything as it's come through here. Washed everything out, I should say. As it's come through here, the creek widens up, and all those heavies have dropped out, and there's clay bottom there, and it's there. The gold, the gems have stuck on that clay, and that's where we found them. So yeah, really good little pocket there. There's a bit more cleaning up to do here. Obviously got to rehabilitate this, but I'm going to take some more samples out of it. But I might do that tomorrow because I'm starving, and I'm going to go and check a few little spots a little bit further down the creek. I'm going to have a look at a few spots. So we're back here tomorrow. Hopefully we've still got some water. It's drying up very rapidly. We'll see what else we can find here. There's yesterday's results. Not too bad at all for 10 pans plus one little sample pan of clay. So no idea what weight's in there, but we'll weigh that up after we add today's results in there. Hopefully we can double that from today's efforts. So let's go back out in the bush and see what we can see. Righto, carried all the gear back out in the bush, and here we have a very likely looking spot. The reason I like it is you've got this gravel bar down here, runs through and across the creek. A heap of rocks on there. It doesn't look like anyone has dug it recently. This area gets absolutely flogged, so a lot of the gold you're finding has been washed over and over again down the creek and concentrated into these sort of little spots. So we'll take some samples through here and see what can come out, see what's in there. So it doesn't look like anyone's dug it since the last flood, which is getting harder and harder to find in here. We'll go and pan some off. First likely spot is just here, reason being creek's come through here, water's flowed through here. You can see there's deposited stuff there, quartz and mud. That's solid bedrock. Loose rock there, bedrock running down here. So there should be a bit of a concentration through there. That's a loose rock. That one might be out of camera there, but that's actually quartz reef running through that. Mineralised quartz. And we'll sample that if there's any rough coarse gold in there. So we'll clear out a bit of that. Yep, nice black mud. That's actually a very good sign. Get down to the bottom of it. Sample straight down so we get all across the different layers. There, goes straight in there. Look at that. That's weird. It's actually a quartz bar there and it all cuts in underneath it. It's an unusual little feature, like a natural ripple. Let's see if it works. Ouch, pricklies. Just bedrock there, I think. A lot of heavies in this gravel, so that's a good sign. If there's any gold or gems in there, we'll clear out this area a bit more and open that up. Pan this off and see how we go. Okay, let's see what we've got. First pan today. No gold to be seen. This little zircon. Zircon or a pink sapphire, I'm not sure which. Looks like zircon, that one. I'll have to have a closer look later. There's another one. They're just of scientific interest, but I think the other one's a pink sapphire. No gold. No gold, no good. Well, not enough clay. Gold hasn't stuck to the bottom here. Well, we'll fill that in and we'll go and find a clay spot. Just moving a couple of rocks and uncovered a local. Anyone have any idea what variety of frog that is? It's pretty cool. We'll find him a nice safe home here where no one else is going to disturb him. But, I'm just going to scrape down these little cracks in the bedrock here, see what's in those. There's no gold or no significant gold in this little bit. We'll move a bit further up the creek. The trick with this is just to keep testing and testing and testing. So that's where we dug the last little one over there. A couple more pans, test pans, and that's the best one we got. Zircon and 2 little bits of gold. So I have come back to our original spot. Not much water left in here. We'll clean a bit more of this stuff up and see if there's any good little rich patches in here that I missed. A little bit on both sides of the gutter I'm going to work. So very thin layer there, and then we'll try scraping a little bit more over there. See what's here. Finding a little bit more gold again, but not like it was the first several pans in here. I'll wash this one off. I'm panning back in the creek that I've sieving in the baby bath. Trying to keep my fingers away from these tiger leeches, of which there's heaps. If one leeches onto me, I'll edit that bit out, because yeah, won't be pretty. Hate the things. I'll see what's in this. This is just to the side of where the rich patch was in there, if you can call it that. It was decent gold. I wouldn't say it was earth-shatteringly rich, but it was rather nice to see in the pan. Might do a pan or two after this one. I'll show the panning if they're any good, but otherwise we'll wander back home and yeah, weigh it all up and have a closer look at some of it, especially that nice little sapphire. A lot of heavies in this stuff. Little oolites, they're called, of ironstone. Oolites and pisolites, the names of the ironstone granules. Do we have gold? Yeah, there's a bit of gold in there. Oh, bigger chunk. Always nice to see. You can see there's a reasonable sized bit in there. Weight builds up a lot quicker when they come out that size. Right, I'll do a couple more pans from where that came from, and yeah, we'll be back home. Okay. Right, we're back in the workshop. I have the gold combined from the two short trips, about 3.5 hours altogether. Let's see what we've got. A little bit left in there. 0.45, not even half a gram. No, that's not terrible. 0.46. Not terrible, but I actually thought we would have had more in there. But yes, gold does its magic transmogrification of shrinking when you find it. It seems that way anyhow. So, gold, not too bad. I'll zero that off. Over here, we have the other minerals, gemstones. Interestingly, there's some pyrite crystals I found in there. It's a weathered pyrite, turned to mostly iron oxide. This one here I actually think is arsenopyrite, iron arsenic sulfide. Most importantly, we have this beautiful blue sapphire, and I have confirmed it is a sapphire. I gave it a hardness test. There's a hardness of 9, well, a hardness of well over 8, so that's confirms it as sapphire. We'll slide across here, see what sort of weight we've got. Where do we find carat? Dropping down on there. 1 carat. That's not a bad stone, especially for an area that I would have assured you there was no chance. 0.95 a carat. I would have assured you there was no chance of finding a decent gem sapphire in this entire district until you get up to Morrison's or around there. So I was wrong, which is always a good thing when in this sort of case. So yeah, nice little sapphire. So what we will do, there's a whole lot of zircons in here and a few little sapphires. I'll bring them somewhere with a bit more darkness, and we'll flick a ultraviolet light on those, because some of those will fluoresce. I know this sapphire fluoresces because I tested it. It was part of the test, hardness and fluorescence. There's our mix of stones there, and we'll turn the light off and turn the ultraviolet on. And the colour of the sapphire, how cool is that? So that's a very typical colour for sapphires. The really bright fluorescence and zircons are quite something. I've no idea what that stuff is on the pan, but this pan seems to have a stain there that only shows up under ultraviolet. So there you go, really good finds. So thanks for watching, folks. We will be back with a lot more videos very shortly, and I'll do a few more in that area as well, see if we can find a few more sapphires. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.